Good morning. It's lovely to see you on the breakfast programme. Yes, I'm in Monmouth for you today, just 2 miles from the border in between England and Wales. It's a beautiful market town here, and I'm going to be talking about that border in particular and how it affects people who live and work here. Of course, here in Monmouth, we are in Wales. There's a certain set of restrictions here, but just a couple of miles down the road, different restrictions, because that's where the border is, just in between England and Wales. And we're going to be having a chat to Derval this morning. I've been told she is the lady to talk to here in Monmouth. A bit more about what it's like to live and work here in particular. So we're going to ring the bell on her doorstep this morning. Let's hope she is in and awake. And it doesn't look like she is. Good morning, Derval. How are you?
Good.
Thank you so much for having us on your doorstep this morning.
That's
really
all right.
do appreciate it. It's lovely to see you. Firstly, just want to ask you, so the people at home know a little bit more about you and Monmouth in particular.
Okay.
How long have you been living here and what's it like?
4.5 years. And as I'm from Sligo, West Ireland, so it's very similar. Very nice community, small, and they've been great. We loved it, myself and my daughter. We moved here in 2017, so I'm still here. So I must like it.
Yeah, you must
It's
indeed.
good.
So your daughter's actually in university in London, isn't
Yeah.
she? So tell me a little bit about what that's been like, because obviously she's only over the border.
Yeah.
But, you know, different restrictions there for her. What was it like over Christmas?
Now, this year, difficult again, because they've just come back down, and obviously they've had freedom up there. They come over here and they have to put on the masks and whatever. But we have had all this from the start, because she went up, I think she was there 2 weeks in London, got 2 weeks freedom, and then the lockdown kicked in. So it was very restrictive for them. And also they had just left, you know, their first year in uni. So, yeah, no, she coped well. She coped well. But it is difficult for people coming in, because if you go to Hereford or you go over the road, you don't have to wear a mask. You don't have to, you know, we have some, like 7 in the shop now. We have to wear masks on public transport, and that's fine, but it is confusing. That's the only problem, you know, we find.
That's what I was going to ask you, because you manage the charity shop, which is just around the corner from here. So what's that been like during the pandemic? Because I'm sure that you get people kind of travelling over the border, you know, often every day to come into your shop. Then there's people here in Wales too. So what's it like with the customers?
Well, the signs are up. They're quite aware, most people, but unfortunately you do get the odd one, you know, and we do supply masks. We do kind of advise them politely, but that's all you can do. And it is confusing, because as I said, you can take a bus over to Hereford and next thing you don't have to wear a mask, and, you know, there's not restrictions on how many in each store, but that's okay. We've coped with it, I think, well.
And you've also got family in Ireland and some family in Italy as well. So you're kind of across everything, you know, Ireland, Wales, England and Italy.
Yeah.
So what's that been like? What's the family makeup like?
It's been difficult because obviously we couldn't travel. I haven't been home since March last year. And I have been in contact with Skype. We've obviously, you know, telephones and we FaceTime. But my sister in Italy did have a rough time because it was northern Italy. So they didn't get the vaccines as soon as we did. And she had underlying conditions. So it took quite a while. I think I got my first one last March and she'd only been vaccinated last January, which was quite... So she was in isolation for quite some time. And, you know, it's tough. It's tough for anybody to do that. But like that, we all had to do it here, you know. So it was hard. It was hard.
Certainly. So obviously you're across the restrictions on both sides of the borders. Who do you think has got it right? Because you're probably across what Drakeford's doing and also Boris Johnson as well.
I think we're done well in Wales. I think we've done really well. I think we've had to protect ourselves. We have to, you know, we have to look after ourselves. We don't know enough about it yet. I know it's tough and I know it's not fun, but I do think sometimes the English were a bit lax quicker than we were here. But I think it's worked well, you know.
And something that's changed just while we've been on air in the last couple of minutes is that Djokovic has won his appeal. Now, tennis, this is something you're across. What do you think about the whole situation with him in Australia at the moment?
Well, one, I think if you have to travel, like I haven't been home personally. I will go soon. But it was because I wasn't vaccinated. They've had the passports in place there for a long time. But I do think that if he has strong personal issues, that's fair enough. But I think he also has a responsibility to everyone, you know, to show, especially in the public eye, with what's going on. I do feel that, you know, if he's travelling to a different country, he has to respect that they have their passports in place and there's a reason for that, you know.
Well, thank you so much for having us on your doorstep this morning, Derval. It's been absolutely lovely to see you. And everyone in Monmouth was telling me how great you are.
Oh, really?
So you were the lady to talk to, so I'm really pleased. So do stay tuned with us on the breakfast programme this morning.